I've lost 35 pounds, slowed down my biological aging, improved my recovery, my energy, my inflammation, and honestly changed the way I look at health and wellness. All because I discovered peptides. And what's crazy is that most people still have absolutely no idea what peptides even are. They hear words like Ozempic, Tirzepatide, anti-aging, healing, recovery injections, or GLP-1s, but nobody is actually explaining what's happening in the body in a way normal people can understand. So today, I want to break down all of this to a true beginner level because I genuinely believe peptides are going to become one of the biggest shifts we see in modern wellness and preventative health over the next decade. And honestly, this journey didn't even start as a business for us. It started as a group of women sitting around saying, there has to be a better way to age, a better way to feel, a better way to recover, a better way to have energy and confidence and feel like ourselves again. A lot of us were doing the workouts, trying to eat healthy, taking supplements, staying active, and still feeling exhausted, inflamed, hormonally off, and struggling with weight, struggling with recovery, and honestly feeling like our bodies were working against us. Once we started researching peptides, it opened up an entirely different conversation that most people had never heard of before. Now, before we go any further, I do want to say that I am not a doctor and this is not medical advice. This video is simply educational and based on research and personal experience and conversations happening inside of our community. But I truly believe people deserve to understand what's happening in this industry because it's growing incredibly fast and there is an absolute reason for that. So first, what are peptides? At the most basic level, peptides are chains of amino acids. Amino acids are the actual building blocks your body uses to create proteins. And your body naturally produces peptides every single day. They help regulate hormones, healing, metabolism, inflammation, digestion, sleep, muscle growth, brain function, skin health, and so much more. In fact, peptides are actually involved in almost every major function in the human body. One of the most well-known peptides is actually insulin. Another example is collagen peptides. So peptides themselves are not some strange futuristic thing. Your body already understands them because your body already makes them. What's happening now is that science has actually figured out how to isolate certain peptides and use them to support specific pathways inside of your body. That's why you're suddenly hearing about fat loss peptides, healing peptides, anti-aging peptides, recovery peptides, muscle support peptides. Different peptides communicate with different systems in the body, which is what makes this space so interesting. And I think one of the biggest misconceptions online right now is that peptides are the same things as steroids, and they're really not. Steroids are a hormone. Peptides are signaling molecules. They're basically communicating with your body and signaling certain systems to respond in a specific way. Think about it like this. Your body already has communication pathways happening all day long. Peptides are essentially messengers. Some may signal fullness, some may support healing and recovery, some may encourage natural growth hormone production, some may support metabolism, inflammation, sleep, or cognitive function. That's why certain peptides are being used to help support things like fat loss, recovery, energy, sleep, body composition, injury repair, and healthier aging. Now, does that mean peptides are magic? Absolutely not. And I really want to be honest about this because social media is making some of this look really unrealistic. Peptides are tools. They are not replacements for healthy habits. They are not replacements for movement, nutrition, protein intake, sleep, hydration, or taking care of yourself. You still have to do the work. In fact, the people who usually see the best results are the people who are already trying to improve their lives and just looking for that additional support and optimization. The peptide simply helps support what they're already doing. One of the biggest categories people know about right now is the GLP-1 peptide. These are the peptides that exploded into the mainstream conversation because of medications like Ozempic and Wegovy and Mounjaro, Tirzepatide, Retatrutide. These are peptides primarily affecting appetite signaling, blood sugar response, and how quickly the stomach empties. In very simple terms, they helped many people feel fuller and stay fuller longer. For some people, it's the first time in years that they haven't constantly thought about food all day long. And especially for many women, it felt like their bodies finally stopped fighting them. I know it did for me. But peptides go way beyond weight loss. There's an entire world of healing and recovery peptides that people are becoming more interested in. Things like BPC 157, TB 500, GHKCU, NAD+, CJC 1295, and ipamorelin. They're all conversations becoming very popular in the wellness community. Some people are exploring peptides for injury recovery, inflammation support, skin health, energy, sleep, longevity, recovery from workouts, cognitive support, and truly overall optimization. And honestly, I truly believe we are only at the beginning of understanding where this industry is going over the next decade. I think one of the biggest reasons peptides are growing so quickly is because people are starting to question the old model of waiting until they're completely unhealthy before they finally address their health. More people want prevention. They want longevity. They want to feel strong, vibrant, and healthy before things become crisis mode. People are becoming more proactive about optimizing their quality of life, and peptides are becoming part of that conversation. I also think community is a huge part of why this movement is growing. One thing we noticed early on was that so many people felt overwhelmed and confused. I know I did. They didn't know where to start, what peptides did, what was it, hype or reality? How does the dosing work? Who do I trust? And honestly, the internet can feel intimidating sometimes. People are scared to ask questions because they don't want to get judged. So what started as a small group of women trying to figure things out together slowly grew into a real community focused on education, support, encouragement, and helping people become the best versions of themselves. Not perfection, just progress. I think that's what makes this movement so powerful. So many people simply want to feel better again. They want their bodies back. They want more energy. They want confidence. They want recovery. They want strength. They want better health. They want to feel like themselves again. And they are realizing they are not alone in wanting that. Now, with all of that being said, there's still a lot to learn in this space. And there are absolutely risks with anything involving your body. That's why education matters so much. Quality matters. Third-party testing matters. Research matters. Medical guidance matters. We work with doctors. I always encourage people to do their own research, ask questions, and work with those qualified professionals whenever possible. But I also genuinely believe that the future of wellness is shifting, and peptides are becoming a major part of that shift. So if you've been hearing people talk about peptides and had absolutely no idea what they even were, hopefully this video gave you a beginner-friendly starting point. And if you want more videos where we break down specific peptides, beginner information, recovery, anti-aging, fat loss, muscle support, women's health, peptide myths, risks, side effects, and how all of this actually works, make sure you subscribe and join our community. And if you're on your own health journey too, drop a comment below because chances are there are a lot more people out there feeling exactly the same way you are. We've linked our community below, so definitely join us for all the free education.